Uh-oh.
What is up? Peoples, let us get our phones synchronized here. We had a YouTube explosion, and here we go. Explosion. Okay, I'm on there. I got it up. The stream that is. There we go. I had it ready to go, and the phone freaked out, and it whatever I had done stopped, so I had to redo it, and big mess. So a couple people had already commented, but hopefully everybody will jump over on the right one. And the phone also was about half dead, so I got it plugged up. Hopefully y'all don't hear a buzzing noise. Let me listen real quick. I don't think I heard it. Yeah, I don't hear it. We good. We had a camera plugged up one other time doing the podcast, and we could hear like a humming in the background. So
What's going on, Leo?
Hopefully y'all are doing okay this evening.
Jeff had got in on the next one, so Jeff, if you hop on this one, glad you love your strings, man.
Thanks for the order. What is up, Leo? So I guess the first topic to cover is we got everybody a sticker mailed out that we know of that did a super chat last week, so we're going to do the same thing this week. We found out if you go down beside the comment thing, there's a little money sign, and you can do a thing called a super chat. So if you send us any amount of money, $1, 50 cents, we don't care. We will stick you one of these fancy Archeryshack decals in the mail. Last week we only had a couple made, and I had to order more vinyl and have my wife make more, but we actually got everybody's that was still waiting out today. Yeah, today. So probably 2 or 3 days, everybody that got them last week will have them through the mail. But we got a bunch. We got about 10 ready to go this time, so we won't have to wait. So anyway, super chat, and then email us. You can email me or TJ. I guess archershack@gmail.com is the easiest way to say I sent you a super chat, send me a sticker, and here's my address. So
Scott's on, watching with us.
Scott is on here. I guess he ghosted us today. I came in and Scott was gone. And y'all said he came in and ate some some pork rinds or something and left.
He ate some beef jerky and some Pringles, I think.
Man likes his beef jerky.
Yeah. I don't mind beef jerky every now and then, but I'm a Jack Lynch kind of guy on my beef jerky.
What did we used to carry at the old Bucks and Bass? It was because it was good too, but it was, I can't remember what the brand was.
I can't remember either.
Anyway, we got all kinds of stuff to chat about. We're going to talk about common tools you could use or need or might need, or you probably already got most of them to work on a bow at home. And we got some t-shirt announcements, hence me and TJ matching like twinsies, and all kind of stuff. And y'all can chat with us in the chat, and we'll talk to y'all and answer questions, whatever y'all want to talk about, and we'll go from there.
Yep.
What has happened in the last week that was crazy? I'm trying to think. I don't have like a huge story of like a bow blowed up and killed a guy.
No, I don't think there's really. We had a bow tech come in yesterday that something was, I don't know what.
Cattywampus.
Cattywampus ain't the word. The modules on it had the performance or comfort modules on it. One of them was set on comfort, one of them was set on performance, and it's, I looked up a cam chart on that one because I'm not too familiar with the Bowtech's module system on the draw length. So I looked it up, and the guy needed a 28-inch or 29-inch draw, so I set it on 29-inch setting, but it only was drawing around 27. So I kept looking, kept doing some research on it, and ended up, I put it on the longest setting, and it was only drawing 28 inches. So I think maybe he had some wrong modules or something on it. I'm not 100%, but that's about the weirdest one I've had this week.
Wild stuff. I guess we can let the cat out of the bag about the t-shirts.
Yep.
So my wife, I told y'all last week, she got the fancy sticker machine, and now we got the heat press and all that. So I'm gonna take my microphone off and I'll do a slow spin. I only need you looking at the t-shirt. Don't be looking at my features. But anyway, so I hadn't got them ready yet, so I don't have a link, I don't have nothing yet, I don't even have a price. But next week when we go live, we're gonna have some t-shirt options for you. I'm gonna probably just put a link on the website. I'm trying to find out where's the cheapest place I can get a t-shirt that's not going to fall apart, you know, because I don't want it to be a complete junk t-shirt, but I also don't want you to pay $20 for a t-shirt. So
Yep.
I'm trying to keep it 10, 12, 15 at the absolute most after shipping or whatever. So next week we'll have some news on that. But let me spin and show y'all what we got going on here. I'm going to take my microphone off. I don't know. I'm about to squat.
You need to do the wave.
Can I see it on there?
Yeah. See it pretty good. Yep.
So anyway, it's got the Archeryshack logo on the front and a big one on the back. I think they look good. I'm gonna wash it a couple times. If so far, well, we got, what kind of shirts are these? The Gildan heavy cottons. What these are?
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna probably shrink because
yeah.
they're huge. I like these are a 2X and they're big, and usually
Yeah.
that's not the case. So because I'm a fatty, but we'll figure out. I don't know if this is a good shirt to go with or not, but we're going to test them out and have some options ready next week, and we'll let y'all know.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about some common tools you can use at home, easy to find stuff to work on your bow at home, because we always have people asking, what do we use? Yeah, I've been using your workouts, even though you have never uploaded a video to the YouTube. And you have a YouTube channel called From Fit to Fat. These are common tools that most everybody that kind of tinkers with their bow at home probably has or wants or needs. And we always have people say, what's the basic stuff I need to kind of start tinkering? And this is sort of it. First of all, you probably already have them, but you need some Allen wrenches. You can get them anywhere, Home Depot, Walmart, wherever, a couple bucks. I prefer the set of handheld ones. You know, you're going to pay a few more bucks, but it's just easier to get your hand on them and torque them. But this set is, I usually grab this if I'm going outside and like set somebody's side or whatever.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah.
We got some right here. I like
That's the Harbor Freight version.
Yeah. But
You can get them Harbor Freight for cheap.
yeah, I like these because if you get in a tight spot, you can actually get a little bit of torque on these if you had to instead of that big Allen pack. So
and my favorite ones, we got some over there. But it also has the Allen wrench coming out of the handle. So if you get on a limb bolt that's real tight, you put that in there and you got some leverage.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you get the cheaper Allen wrenches, sometimes they'll want to round off and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So just kind of see what you got. Secondly, Torx wrenches. These are my favorite ones. TJ discovered these. I think they're made by Stanley, and they're handheld. A lot of cam, especially on PSCs, the cams have on the modules, they have the Torx screws. But we also have them, you know, in a set as well. But again, just a couple bucks. Some bows have them, some bows don't. But
I think them was $6 at Walmart, and I was like, heck yeah.
After that, a tape measure. Everybody's got a tape measure, but just to check like axle brace height, peep height, that sort of thing. Serving thread. If I'm not mistaken, I think I put a link to some of this in the description. But this BCY 3D is a good all-round tying a peep, tying knock ties, you know, for your loop, whatever. You know, you could serve around the cam with it. If you had a serving tool, you could do whatever, tying a kisser button with it. But it's, excuse me, it's good stout material, and we've been using it for a good while. Loop material, again, is cheap. Even if you just ordered black or red or one color, you know, you're just looking at a few bucks to get several feet of it. And there's plenty of videos, I'm sure, on YouTube of how to tie one. So it's not hard to figure that out.
And we like to run the BCY number 24 on.
There's a bunch of different loops now. In BCY world, there's the 24 and the 23. The 23 is a smaller diameter. It's got more spectra in it, and it kind of burns weird.
Yeah, it does.
If I was using a hinge, I would like it. But the 24 is good stout stuff. And then there's a bunch of other companies. Pine Ridge makes a nitro loop. I feel like they're probably getting it from the same, probably from BCY or something. But Brownell, the string material maker, they got some. Gibbs Archery Gear sells it. There's a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So loop. I mean, ultimately loop is loop, but BCY I just like.
Yeah.
And then of course a lighter to burn your loop and your your stuff with.
Just be very careful with your lighter not to get near the strands of your string.
I couldn't tell you how many people order strings from us and contact us 2 weeks later and say, I was putting in my peep, I got the lighter, and I singed the strands, and now I got a strand either broke or it's all jacked up. Can you just send me can I just order a string because I singed it? So anyway, be careful.
Same thing with the razor blade. You know, this is good for, you know, you get your peep tied in, you know, you can just pull it, and
Or your rest cord.
or anything like that. But there again, like the lighter, be careful. We have had calls, people say, well,
most of the time it's a broadhead.
yeah, most time it's a broadhead, but we have got calls. I was tying my D-loop or trying to, you know, get my timing or my cord on my rest in, and accidentally nicked the bus cable or a string or something with my razor, and I'm like, ugh.
Evening Muddy Ducks. I was just telling them, I think before you got on, we had ran out of vinyl and had shipped a couple of these decals, but if I'm not mistaken, yours was one of the ones that went out today. We got everybody else's shipped because I ordered more green vinyl and she got them made. So you should have a sticker in the mail in a couple of days. And next week, we're going to have some fancy t-shirts to talk about.
Yep.
String. Give me a minute and I'll go get a bow after we talk about this, and I will whoop out the string separator and show you kind of how we use it. These are my favorite pliers. I love these. They're Craftsman. I think they call them either mini or micro needle nose, but they're real small and they're stainless. So if you got the cheap needle nose, they'll rust. And if you get a bright colored loop or a white loop, that rust when you stretch it or whatever will get off on there and make it all nasty looking.
Yep.
With these, they're small. So if you tie a small loop, you can still get it in there. I like them. I used to buy them at Sears, and our Sears closed down. I think a lot of them did.
Yeah.
So I found some on Amazon or eBay and ordered 3 or 4 sets a couple years ago, just so we'd have several.
Lowe's may have them now because they
That's
started
true.
carrying Craftsman stuff.
Yep. But I love these little needle nose. And then this is in the description as well. I think you can buy it for 10, 12 bucks, but it's this level combo. One that you can clip on the string and one you can clip on the arrow. In those tuning videos I do, I use this all the time. I'll get the string level, get the arrow level, put my loop on. You could also technically get your bow, the string level on 2 different planes and sort of check your sight level and all of this. But that's something I need to do a video on. It's like a 3rd axis leveling.
Yeah, we hadn't done one of them in a long time, I don't think. Muddy Ducks loves the green shirts.
Awesome. Awesome. I did a spin. I'll do another spin for you in a minute when I go get that bow. And I was telling them I got to figure out like where's a good place to buy blank t-shirts, because my wife got the heat press machine and she made us these just as a test run, and they seem we got to wash them because they're big. But I got to find a decent shirt for cheap, and then next week I'll put a link or something to the website and have them so we can send them out. I want to keep it at like 10 or 12 bucks for the shirt, not at like 20 bucks. And I think I can do that if I can find the right shirts or whatever. But that's always been the problem when we've ordered them. We'll have a shoot and I'll order like a couple dozen shirts. And I mean, you can hardly find somebody that'll make you some shirts and us be able to get them by the time you pay shipping and getting them here. And the people in town, I'd love to do them local. But the people in town had quoted me like $20-something a shirt one time if I think it was 4 or 5 dozen. I was like, there is no way.
No.
And on the shirts, you know, I really don't want to make a dime on them. I just think of them as advertisement.
Yeah.
And but anyway, so I'm hoping to keep them at 10, 12 bucks by the time we pay for vinyl and the heat vinyl we got to buy and the shirt and the shipping and all that stuff. So stay tuned.
But then, you know, also you don't have to go as fancy, but just a regular air scale. If you if you reload your own bullets or anything.
There's one, and we've got one. I should have got it. There's one on Amazon. I put it in that description link. It actually I leave it in all the videos, but I think it was like 12 bucks on Amazon, and it works perfect.
Yep.
The funny thing is, when you get it, unless they've changed the package, the last one I'd ordered, it has marijuana leaves on the outside of the box. So it's definitely a drug scale, but it works perfect for arrows and tips and stuff.
But you know, that way, you know, that's just a few little basic tools. I mean, you can always add more.
Oh yeah, you could get started. So here's my D-loop thoughts. I used to always tie them short because I thought they looked neat and blah, 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 blah. And I still have people come in that I worked on their bows like 15, 20 years ago, and they're like, put me one of them little loops on like you used to do. And I always do it. But if you're shooting a wrist style release, it's not a big deal because you're not putting any torque on the loop. But if you're shooting a handheld where you're having to twist it and it's putting any sort of a torque on that loop, I feel like the short loop, and you can watch some people shooting and actually see this, but I feel like it transfers the torque onto the string a little bit and cants the serving between the loop sideways a little bit. So I have started doing a little bit longer loop, and in those videos when I tie those little knot ties between on the inside of the loop to make sure nothing moves and it don't pinch the knock and all that, you can't make it super short and do that. It's more fat than it is long, but it just looks fatter, you know, and people are like, I wanted a short one. But I think I'm more of like a medium loop, and if somebody's shooting a handheld, a longer type of loop. And I'll tell you something I want to buy that I have not thought about in a couple months, and I've seen it on somewhere. Somebody had invented a loop gauge. So like if somebody brought in a bow, we could stick that loop gauge between their serving, and it's a little fancy thing in their loop, and it'll say, all right, this is a 3/4 or 11/16 or whatever inch loop. And then when we put the new one on, we can match it or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And I can't even remember who.
What do you, DLR, what do you think of the highly adjustable bows like the Infinite Edge or the Cruiser?
We sell a lot of those cruisers.
Yeah.
And we work on, I can get the Infinite Edge. We've sold some. I don't stock them. I mean, it's a good bow.
Yeah.
We work on a bunch of them, and we make a lot of strings for them, so I like them.
I mean, as far as like a super duper, it's one of those.
I just like it because a guy can come in and we can be like, listen, your daughter can shoot it, your wife can shoot it, you can shoot it. You know, if you buy it for the daughter and she hates it, then the wife can shoot it or whatever, because it can go all over the world, all over the place.
We kind of, you know, people, that's the biggest thing is I want to get in, you know, I've never done it or I've kind of done it, but I want to get a cheaper bow or, you know, and then, or my son or daughter is shooting in school. I want to get out there and shoot with them. So, you know, we kind of steer them towards that highly adjustable bow just because, hey, you know, in a year, if you want to upgrade, well, guess what? You can pass that bow down to your son or daughter or give it to your wife or something like, you know, anything because they're so adjustable. Yeah. So it's just, they're good bows.
I just try to tell them, like, people come in and I'll tell them all that, and then they kind of think maybe this is meant for a kid or something. I'll be like, no, this thing goes to like 70 pounds. Like, you can kill a deer with it, and then you can bring it in and we can make a little adjustment, and then a 8 or 10-year-old can shoot it, but with the same bow, you know. So I wish stuff like that would have been out when we were kids, because it was like pulling teeth to find what I'd call a decent youth bow back then. It was either like you getting a plastic piece of junk or you getting a 30-inch draw 70-pounder. That's it.
On the strings on those, I mean, if it's a brand new bow, I wouldn't really suggest changing the strings out. I mean,
if I'd say this, they come with the rubber tubing, Pete.
I would change that.
But you can't keep it straight.
That's true.
The factory strings, in my luck with them, if you don't use that rubber tubing, that peeps all over the place. So I don't know. It's iffy. We 2 years ago sold a lot of the Stinger X PSEs, which is their pretty adjustable bow, and a bunch of them, I just went ahead when they first came in and we made up about 10 sets of strings and just put our strings on them, because then I could be like, listen, we've upgraded the strings, you don't have to use that rubber tubing, you know. But that's, yeah, I agree, it is sort of the weak link, but I guess part of the thinking is a lot of those bows are for super beginners and kids. So the rubber tubing peep, they don't even know any better and don't care. But
yeah. Muddy Duck said that they bought their scale at a smoke shop, and they use it to weigh their airs and 2-part epoxy.
I think they're weighing kilos on it.
Don't never know. But, you know, as far as strings on, that's kind of a two-edged sword kind of thing.
Yeah. That... really with any bow, like the $500 bows and less, most of the strings suck.
Yeah, I agree.
And you can fight with them a little bit. With those bows, it reminds me of like the 90s, where you'd be like, take your bow, you'd sell somebody a bow and be like, take your bow, shoot it 100 times, bring it back, we'll twist the peep. You got to shoot in the string. You know, they're really, if you get a good pre-stretched string and put a couple shots on it, she's ready to roll.
Yeah.
But those are still kind of.
When leveling a sight, do you start by leveling the riser or the string? I've found the riser and string are not always level to each other.
Agreed. What I do is I'll level the string. Thought somebody, we looking at the security camera, I thought somebody pulled up. I level the string, and then I take the little Hampski level and put it on the riser. But sometimes when I think it's a level spot on the riser, it's not. So pretty much what I do is if it don't match the string, I'll move it to another spot until riser and string match, just to make sure it's perfect. Because I've had bows where I thought like the very top of the riser would be square and level and all, and it don't match at all. So I start with a string, put that Hampski, it's sitting over there somewhere, put that on the riser, make sure they match, and then go to the sight. And I really like that Hampski level. You don't have to have it, but I think they're kind of high. They're 40 or 50 bucks, but to me it's been worth it.
Yeah. And plus it works real good too, setting your third axis on your sight if
Yeah.
it has it. Why don't you go grab a bow so we can do those
All right.
before
by.
we forget. And for those just tuning in, if you super chat us, you know, whatever you want to, we're sending out the stickers for every super chat. If you do that, just send us an email, archeryshack@gmail.com with your address, and we'll get you a sticker on the way.
Luckily, she made us up about 10 extra ones this time. So if you do that, we can have them ready to roll. Unlike last week where I was like, ain't nobody gonna super chat us, and then I was like, oh crap, we got several of them. So the string separator, what I don't do, I don't know why I took that peep out, but what I don't do usually is try to jam it in there not pressed. And I think that was part of the question. Like, unless you got a string that has very, very little twist in it, you're not going to get this in here under tension without jacking up a little. I mean, you get it in there, but afterwards it'll be frayed up a little bit. And I hate doing that. So if I got a brand new whatever, I'll take a little tension off to get it in there. But if you've already got a peep, like we change out a lot of peeps, hang on, I'll get closer, you know, and I stick it in there. I actually need to get this peep out of here. Oh, I did that on that peep time video. Yeah. That's going to be a pain in the butt to get out of there.
That was that last one that we showed them with all the greeny knots.
Gotcha. But also, so I've seen some people, and I've done this and got whopped upside the head. You stick it in there like at the peep, and then this little groove here is meant to hold it there, and that thing will.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Normally when that happens, we start cussing because now we got to go back to bow press to separate strands.
Get this thing where people can see it. So, you know, so that's simple. You just stick it in there, turn it sideways, and then I'll still lock it in there, but then I can just keep one finger on it and work on my peep or whatever. But if you've got any kind of little division, you can get it in. Like this rest cord down here is nowhere near, you know, it's just a cord, but I can still go right beside that rest cord and get that joker stuck in there. But if I was trying to just straight up get it into that string, you may or may not get it in there, but you're going to fray up the string definitely.
Yeah.
And if that is your only option, you really need two of them, because what's going to happen is, in my experience, if we've been somewhere and I've absolutely got to do that, you'll get it in there, but there's no way you're going to perfectly split the string with just one of them. You're going to get all kinds of stuff, and then you got to take a second one and kind of turn this one sideways, and then you can separate it. But I don't like doing it under tension because it's going, unless it's like a
emergency situation.
That, or you'll get like an old bow with the teardrops on it,
yeah.
And those old strings didn't hardly have any twist in it, and it'll stick in there like butter. But those jokers come in handy, that's for sure.
And please do not use a butter knife or a screwdriver or anything like that.
I have had, in my archery career, have had two people, either one guy bought a brand new bow from me, said he was going to set it up at home, perfect. Come back probably 2 hours later with a blowed up brand new Matthews. And I was like, what happened? And he's like, man, I jammed a butter knife in there to put my peep in, and when I twisted it sideways, it exploded. And I was like, what the hell did you think was going to happen? I mean, and then we had a guy a couple years ago here do about the same thing. It wasn't a new bow, but he blew it up. I mean, I don't know. I guess people just sit at home and are like, I got to get this peep in. And what have I got? Oh, butter knife.
or flat-headed screwdriver.
Yeah, the rest. I'm talking crazy.
What do you think about finding the center of the string between cams and putting D-loop on before setting the rest?
I like that idea. On a bow you can do it with. Like, I don't think you can with this one. Let me just check. On most newer bows, you can do that. This is an older Matthews. So that's sitting at 38 inches. So what's half of that? 19?
Yeah.
So like 19 on this bow is center of the grip. But on like a Matthews no cam, there's a lot of bows now you can do that. And I do agree with it because I feel like everything is centered and coming off perfect. It shouldn't matter if you got even knock travel, which pretty much all bows do now. But if I've got a bow that I can do that on, a lot of times I'll do it. And you may end up not perfectly even with that burger hole. You may end up a little above it. A lot of times a little bit below it. But I think it's a good, if I'm really spending time on a bow that's giving me trouble, or I'm really being crazy about it, I'll do it.
That's what Daniel he said along those lines, the common practice center of error to center of burger buttonhole. Some bows like bottom of error to center of the burger hole. What have you found?
Most of the time, centered is fine.
Yep.
I've seen a couple bows that liked it a little bit high, and I don't know if that was a rest or if that was the bow, but
what's going on, Grover?
What up? He almost missed us again.
Yep.
But usually I'm either going, like you say, I'm going to either measure axle to axle, split the difference, put it in the center, or I'm just going to put it center of the burger hole. I feel like the easiest thing to do is put it center of the burger, but it's just according to what the bow is and what the situation is. Like, you know, on like a tournament bow, if I know a guy's like super competitive shooter or shoots all the time or whatever, I'm gonna definitely do whatever I feel is best. If it's a hunting bow that a guy just wants to shoot for 2 weeks, I'm gonna put it center of the burger hole and roll with it, unless it gives me a weird something and I'll start playing with it. But I had a bow within the last couple months that wouldn't tune right, and I ended up putting it top of the burger hole, and for some reason it started shooting right, but I can't remember. Flip this. Okay.
We're back. A little bit of buffering.
Oh. I got to figure out why it does that. We had like 3 weeks where it went perfect.
Yep.
And then every other time it's done that, it'll say buffering on our thing and have to go back in. What diameter arrows do you guys shoot?
No sales pitch.
For hunting, 3D, or tack?
Okay.
All right, here's mine and you tell me yours.
All right, go for it.
Let's start with hunting. For hunting, I bounce back and forth a little bit. The past 2 years I've shot the Black Eagle Renegades, you know, and they're that little bit smaller diameter arrow with a half out. And the year before that, I shot Spartans, which are a slightly smaller diameter, but with an insert. For no particular reason other than I just wanted to test them and make sure stuff we were selling people was legit, and it was. So for hunting, I don't have to have a small diameter or whatever. Forever, I shot just a regular old diameter, Easton, Beeman, Black Eagle, all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
So that's pretty much me. I hadn't in recent years shot the super small diameter, like an X impact size or something like that, or a 4mm. Again, not for really any particular reason. For tack, I do like a smaller diameter arrow because I think of it as sort of like a shooting field where you're going to make a long shot, and if it is windy, you know, and you got a bigger diameter arrow, it can move it. So for tack, I'm like maybe a little bit heavier arrow because we're using rangefinders, and maybe a little bit smaller diameter. And then for 3D, a big one, because for us, 50 yards max, known yardage. I really don't care if it's heavy or light, which, I mean, I'm still getting plenty of speed. I'm shooting the PS26, and I've shot the PS27, and I've shot the Magnums, I've shot the Gold Tip Triple X's, and this, that, and other. But that's sort of my thoughts on it.
And on my setup for hunting and tack, they got canceled, but I'm running Spartans this year. I've ran Outlaws and Carnivores last couple years. And then, I mean, in the past, I ran the Easton Axis when they first come out. And, you know, I just never really, I'm just always trying different stuff. So I really don't have a favorite, but so far I'm loving my Spartans. They're shooting pretty good. And 3D wise, I'm running a PS27. You know, I ain't the best shot in the world, so, you know, any little advantage I can to catch a line, I'm happy with. But you know, I've shot Magnums, the Challengers, which is pretty much the same thing as a PS23 as far as diameter. PS23 is a little bit better air than the Challenger, but you know, I've shot some Victory. I can't remember what they were. I think they were 23s way back in the day, but
and like, even brand wise, we sell a lot of Black Eagles here, mainly because they're down in, they're like 2 hours from us. They're down in Georgia, and I like that. They're nice people. I feel like they got a good quality product. But I mean, I've shot Eastons and Beemans and Victories and Gold Tips and the whole 9 yards. So I don't have anything against any of them brand wise. But the one arrow I wouldn't mind tinkering with, that I feel like was going to take off but didn't, and you brought them up last week, was those
Victory Extortions.
Yeah, they got like a micro mesh metal weave in the middle of them. I just like to play with them because it's something different, but I hadn't yet. Not high by 1/8 their level. I start dead level, but there's bows that like it a little high, you know, and there's really no way to predict it. But if I was going to try to shoot different diameters, I would definitely level it by the bigger diameter arrow. And I've done this before, and I'll tell a story about it in a second. Level it by the bigger diameter arrow, get it shooting good. And then a lot of times you can put the smaller diameter in it, and it will be knocked high at that point, but it'll still shoot fine. When we went down to the green is very slimming.
Making it look smart.
Hey, if you got any more tips, you let us know.
Yeah.
Should I shave my head? I'm kidding. But anyway, we went down and shot a weekend where they had a field shoot and a 3D shoot in the same weekend. We actually shot it the same day. So of course I'm like, well, I want to shoot skinny arrows for field because it was long distance stuff. And then I want to shoot my fat arrows for 3D. So I ended up, I don't remember what, did I have the PSC Expression maybe, I think?
Yeah, because I think I was
Myrtle
running
Beach.
I was running the Obsession, so you had the Expression.
But anyway, so I already had it ready for 3D. This field thing was just like, well, we're going down there. It's a 5-hour drive. We might as well do both. So just so happened, I took a smaller diameter arrow, and both of them bullet holed through the paper. And both of them flew fine, you know, and I shot them at 50, 60 yards and watched them, and everything was fine. And that happens more often than not. But, I mean, you got, what's that rest called? I think it's called, is it the swap or the something?
Oh,
Spot Hog makes it. If you really wanted to get into tuning, if you wanted to get into tuning two perfect arrows, they've got the Spot Hog swap rest, and you just, the bottom comes off, and you could literally have it set up for one arrow, pop it off, pop the other one on, set it for another arrow. It'd be something to look up if you hadn't seen it on like YouTube or something. But and then if you had a slide bar or whatever, you could maybe have the sight tape on the right side for one arrow and the left side for the other, and it would actually probably work pretty well. But we don't shoot enough field.
No,
I used to have a separate setup for it, and I'd shoot a little bit, but still in South Carolina, there's just not much. 3D is it.
Yeah.
And some indoor, but I used to shoot aluminums for indoor, you know, big diameter aluminums. But now carbon has came so far, I just shoot the big arrow for 3D and indoor and don't worry about it. And we don't have much indoor either. It's just a couple shoots. It seems like older bows did like a knock high out of the gate, and then that gets back into the whole knock travel thing. You know, if you got an older bow and the knock travel, what I mean by knock travel is like if you put it on a machine from the time it was sitting there to the time you draw it back, if it's not perfectly square, if it's going one way or another, then you got to tune. What's that guy on
YouTube
that does he does knock travel, and he puts these lasers on the riser and pulls them to full draw on a hooter shooter and watches the torque on the riser.
Yeah, I can't think
I
of
don't know
his
what it
name.
is, but it is neat.
It is.
It is neat. If you just got on, we are still doing. If you did a super chat last week, thank you. And if you don't know what the super chat is, there's a little thing beside the chat, and you can send us a couple bucks. And if you do that, we've got stickers ready to ship out to you. Just shoot us an email and say, I did a super chat. I mean, you can do it for $1 or $2, whatever. We don't care.
Nope.
We'll ship you one of these stickers. Just email us at archeryshack@gmail.com. We'll get you one out. Next week, we're going to have some info on these shirts. And if you did a super chat last week, we ran out of green vinyl, but my wife got the rest of them done, and we got the rest of them shipped today. So if you ain't got your sticker, remain calm. They'll be there, hopefully, what's today? Thursday, probably Saturday, maybe Monday at the latest.
But, you know, we was talking about DLRs, asking about errors and everything. You know, Zach, I don't think he's watching tonight. If he is, I'm sorry I missed your name. But, you know, this is becoming a bigger question now than it has in the past probably 2-3 years to me, is everybody's, you know, people who are still shooting aluminums and everybody telling them they need to switch over to carbon. In my opinion, if you're shooting aluminum arrows and they're shooting great, you have good luck with them.
Yeah.
Don't change your whole setup just to be like everybody else.
We had a bow shipped in. We filmed it, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was still shooting aluminums, and it'll be a couple weeks because I got to put it all together. But he was still shooting aluminums, and it shot fine.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I want to take a bow and put like some 2314s in it and just make a heavy aluminum hunting rig out of it with an old school like Thunderhead or Muzzy or something, and go slay a deer. Maybe I'll do it this fall at least one time with that setup. I know it'll be slow and all that, but I don't care. Kerosene test of wind drift. I have a little bit. I'll tell you what the most research I've seen in person on it was Nocturnal built this fancy machine and had it at the shows with them, and it would put certain miles per hour of wind drift on the shaft and on the fletching. And they built the whole thing to prove that what do they call it? You shot them.
Yeah, and they shot
Helios vanes.
Yeah, Helios.
It was a vane that would fit on the back of the arrow, but the whole thing lit up. But they built this whole rig to show the way that they had their vanes made would, you know, less drag was on the arrow pretty much. And I sit and talk to them, and they had some fancy engineer there, and they took like a blazer vane and those Helios and a flex fletch and a this and that and the other, and showed they could somehow on the thing show the drag and all that. Other than that, I hadn't done a ton of research except just taking different arrows and shooting them at distance in the wind myself. It's hard to say, like, obviously the fletching are sticking up way more than the arrow shaft, but I think they both have a pretty big part in it. I want to say it was Tim Gillingham, and I don't remember if it was on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, a couple years ago, did some sort of little test in the wind and shot like a Easton X10 versus he wouldn't shoot an X10 because he's a gold tip guy. It must have been a Kinetic or something versus a bigger arrow, and it showed the difference at like 80 yards, and I thought it was real cool. I have to try to find that video, but I don't have any exact data.
But if you go to
That's it, Archer 1941 on YouTube. Yep, the torque tester.
If you're on, you get on YouTube and look up Nocturnal Helios vanes, and that video is on YouTube at the ATA show.
I was never a fan of those just because they're heavy, But they are neat, you know what I mean? The whole thing lights up, and they got a wind design or whatever. But
If I can remember, I've still got some at the house that I can bring, and because it came with, I mean, I think it came with 3 of them, and it came with the lighted nocks for like $30.
yeah,
So it wasn't a bad, and I shot a couple deer with them, and I shot them against my own, just regular fletch when I was running blazers, and I didn't see a whole lot of drop at 50 yards on them. So, and they did way more, but
yeah.
I didn't see a whole lot of difference between them and my blazers, but they were pretty cool to shoot because they're solid white, and the very tips of them are clear, and that nocturnal fits in it, and it was pretty slick. William says, "Hey,
What's up?" Hey, William, if you just got on, I told them my wife ran out of green material vinyl for these stickers, and I think so. Anyway, we got more green in, and I shipped out everybody else's that hadn't already got one sticker today, and I'm pretty sure yours was one of those. So look, it'll be there in a couple days. But yeah, I like doing here's what I like to do. I like to shoot at like 60 or 80 yards, like different arrows, different fletching combos, 3 fletch, 4 fletch, different heights. There's also another video, I can't remember who did it, and I tested this about 10 years ago, but they took different vanes, not necessarily a different height of a vane, but they take like a regular shield cut vane, they take one that's more of a parabolic shape, and for some reason the shield cut vane, which means like the back of it's almost flat, has a little insert.
there was one sitting up here.
I think I put them up. It grouped better for whatever reason. So I don't know the reasoning behind that. It's got something to do with drag and all that mess, but I hadn't tested any of that stuff in quite some time. But I do enjoy doing it. That'd actually probably be a good video. It'd just take a long time to do it. And you also, it's one of those like, you can shoot it out of a machine and definitely get results from that. But if it's my bow, I want to be the one shooting it. You know what I mean? I want to make sure for me and my grip placement and my whatever. And then you got to make sure you're not getting too tired and skewing the results and all that. But 3 or 4 fletch, here's the things. I shoot 3 fletch, and I still shoot feathers, the little razor gateway feathers for almost everything.
I do too.
But the 4 fletches I have done, I've done some with the Boning X Killer vanes, which is a low profile short, and we've done some with those Boning heat vanes, and they were pretty. Who do we send heat vanes to? Somebody.
Yeah, might have been Daniel.
Did you get heat vanes, Daniel? They went out a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
A week or 2 back.
But those heat vanes are they're a little bit longer, but a real low profile. We've done some 4 fletch on those playing with them, and they did real well. It's a stiff, slick vane.
I seen something on Facebook, or it might have been Instagram, from Gateway Feathers. I followed him on Instagram. But they actually took and did, Daniel said he didn't.
I'll have to look. Hopefully I didn't ship them to the wrong person.
I can't remember. But anyway, they actually, Gateway come out with the new batwing feathers last year. Somebody actually took and did the regular parabolic Gateway feathers, and then like a 4 fletch, they actually did the gateways in between it with a little bit shorter one. And I thought it was pretty neat looking, but I never did go back and really look and see what they were doing. But
I know feathers are louder, but especially for a fixed blade broadhead, I feel like they steer better. And then I don't know. I've always liked feathers. I know they tear up when people hit them and all that, but I just feel like they grab the air better and give you some more.
I kind of got a feeling that comment was meant to go somewhere.
It was. I have to refletch my arrows every week when we actually have shoots because TJ tears them up. I can hit that deer in the head, the rubber deer. TJ's gonna slap it.
I try not to. It's just that.
Yeah, remind me when we get off here. We shipped some heat vanes to somebody.
Yeah.
It may have been the wrong person, but we shipped them to somebody.
I know we shipped them because I remember
putting them in the package or whatever. And I remember, because y'all had them zip tied to a string. It was a string. Daniel ordered a string.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe somebody zipped tied them to the wrong one. I remember putting them in the package though.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
If not, we'll find you some more.
Daniel, if you want just a few of the heat vanes to try, just email us archershack@gmail.com.
I think you already did.
Okay, if you did.
I think I got your address, Daniel.
Okay, good work.
Somebody got them some. They probably opened that string up and was like, "Why is there a pack of vanes in here?" I'm pretty sure we still got some more sample packs. We'll send you some.
Yeah, we'll send you some if you want them.
But yeah, I like the heat vanes. I think are neat. They're that slick, stiff profile.
Kind of reminds me of a Vane Tech and a Flex Fletch.
Yeah, I really like Flex Fletch's stuff. You just don't see it. I mean, I know the Blazer Vane, it's everywhere, but the Flex Fletches are a little more expensive. Super nice people though, and very good quality product.
Yep.
William, I got your address too. Remind me. We'll dig around. What we've got is at the shows, sometimes they give us little sample packs of vanes or whatever. And I know we've got a couple, I think, still packs of those heat vanes. So we've already used some. I mean, we probably had 10 packs. We've used several packs, but
yeah.
I'll find one of those sample packs and send y'all.
4 heat vanes on Bloodlines. They are awesome.
Yeah, I think that was a good vane.
I've never ventured over into the 4 Fletch to tinker with.
I've never, I don't think, I'm trying to think of a long time ago if I shot 4. I don't think I've ever shot 4 Fletch as my go-to arrow, like done all my arrows that way. I've fletched them and tested them, but never stuck with it.
What about the X3 vane?
I don't know that I've tested them or messed with them.
I don't think I have either.
I'll tell you a newer vane that I've messed with or we seen was those Levi Morgan helped the tack vane, and it was a stiff slick vane or whatever. It was pretty neat.
The Silent Night, I've run those. I had a sample pack of those at the show, and I actually run them on some tournament shafts and some hunting shafts just to play with.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, if I was going to run a vane, I would definitely go with Flex Fletches. Either, the Silent Night's a good one, and there's another one that I was running.
There's a couple years ago, somebody wanted me to fletch theirs with the Silent Nights, and I was real impressed with them.
All I know is once it stuck,
yeah,
you wasn't getting it off.
Yeah.
I mean, so I really like the Flex stuff. I'm not sponsored by them. Don't get no money from them.
Yeah, they're good people too. They always stop me at the show and chat, and they even gave last year before. They said, did we do like archery lessons or anything like that? And I said, yeah. And they said, here, they gave us a pack of vanes, and it was like, will you put these on your, in other words, like not the demo arrows, but the arrows we use if somebody comes in just for a lesson, never shot before. And I said, absolutely. So we did, and they gave us a banner we put up over here in the hallway and all that stuff. So I thought that was cool.
Yep.
Cool. If you just got on, we have these stickers. And if you do a super chat, which is the little, if you look at the chat box, there's a little money sign to the side. Send us $1 or $2. We will mail you a sticker. Just send us your address to archeryshack@gmail.com afterwards, and we'll get you one in the mail. And if you ordered one last week, we just got all those shipped out. We had to get some more green vinyl in, but we've got a stack of them here this week, so I don't think we'll run out. And then next week, we got information coming on getting some shirts. And hopefully that'll be neat. And I don't know whether to do like a single color or have a couple colors. I know that most ladies, my wife included, always like the pink ones, but we'll see what happens. We may just stick with green for the first trial run and go from there. But what else? Tournament wise, we got one coming up hopefully at Kiwi Bowman, which is one of our local clubs here
next
weekend. I hadn't heard all the rules or whatever. I know they're not serving food or anything like that because of the mess, but
outside registration for it.
Gotcha.
They're going to do it on the back dock.
So that'll be good. Hopefully things are starting to get going again.
Yep.
and we can do some shoots. I know ASA canceled Metropolis, and did they move London or they kept London?
I think they moved it.
Or they were waiting on approval from the governor or something to do it. I can't remember.
I know they was waiting on approval, but I think they changed the date. I don't know when, but I know they was waiting on approval. I did see where another R100 was canceled. I think it was Colorado where I seen it was canceled. So
hopefully all this is getting slowly behind us.
Yep.
But I guess here in a minute we'll get off here, and thank y'all for tuning in. And if you just got on also, earlier in the thing, we kind of talked about some basic tools. You know, you can, if you wanted to have some basic stuff at home to tinker with stuff, we got some basic tools here, and I put some links in the description of stuff to click around on, some arrow scales and levels and serving and all that stuff. So check it out.
And you know, most of this too, you could also put in your hunting pack.
Yeah.
You know,
honestly, most of this minus the arrow scale, if we go to a shoot, it's in my little backpack I carry.
Yeah.
We rarely have anything go wrong, but you don't want to be out in the middle of the woods. Thank you, Daniel. I will get you a sticker in the mail. You don't want to be out in the middle of a 3D course and a peep comes untied or a loop. I remember I think I was at Kiwi, and I could see a group of fellas sort of in frantic, what do we do? And they were newer shooters, and their loop had come untied or whatever. And I walked up and I was like, hey, I got some loop in my pack. I can stick you another one on there real quick. And they were like, they looked at me like, out here? And I was like, yeah. So I put them a loop on and stretched it out and everything. I said, y'all ready to go? They couldn't believe it, you know, but I was glad to be able to help them. And a lot of times we'll come across people that their sights came loose or whatever, and we'll have torques and Allen wrenches and be able to help them out. But yeah, it's just good to kind of, if you carry in a backpack or we carry those little 3D stools. I got a little rubber or almost like a little fishing box,
little tackle box. Yeah,
keep everything in.
Yeah, I normally, you know, like I said, in my hunting pack, which really where I hunt, I don't really tote one. I always got a pair of pliers or pocket knife on me.
Hunting around here though, like I know I'm just walking in, walking out. But if I was going out west, you know,
I'd definitely have a.
And Bear or Trophy Ridge or whoever's got one as well.
True Peep. Yep.
I don't know. I'm on the fence about them.
Thank you, Matt.
You're the man, Matt. I feel like we should strip our shirt. We could rip them off. Super Chat and have Super Chat painted on our chest.
It's too nice for a shirt to rip off.
Well, damn. Anyway. The Sawtooth one I definitely like better than the Fletcher one. Some of the bear bows that we've ordered as packages have those Fletcher ones on there. I don't know what to think about them. I'm not a fan.
I will say they won't move.
Yeah.
But if you got to adjust it, you definitely got to have a press to.
I'll tell you what I meant to order that I liked at one of the shows we went to, and that was Sawtooth came out with a drop away rest cord locker downer. I don't know what you'd call it, but you put that cord through it and it was the same kind of design. It wouldn't budge. And I remember thinking I need to order some of those because that would be a simple, you wouldn't have to tie in stuff, and I completely forgot about it until just now. But anyway, they work. I don't know that I would 100% trust them, and they're plastic.
Yeah.
I definitely like the Sawtooth one way better than the Fletcher deal they came out with. And I really think Bear is doing it on their bows because it's a lower end package bow and they can just dump it in there. And if a box store gets it, you know, like Bass Pro or Academy or whatever, their little person behind the counter who, I'm not saying they don't know anything, but from what we've seen in our town, they don't know anything. They can just kind of set it and forget it type of thing. You talking about the peep sight? I'm trying to change the timing on cams. Use that or change timing on cams.
Oh, I think he might be talking about the Sawtooth for the cord.
Gotcha. Well, I guess as long as you didn't. Oh yeah. As long as you didn't, I guess have it too snug. And that's if I was a rest maker and I was Hampski, for example. I'd really be putting some information out there showing that a drop away cord can change the cam timing. I mean, I've had bows in here, hadn't put the cord in yet, time it, put the cord in, and they're off a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's that cord tugging on it, you know, but it is what it is. But the limb drivers type style, they don't do that.
Yeah, which I'm glad I made the switch to it. I ain't knocking a cable driven rest. I shot QAD for years. I shot Trophy Taker when they first come out with the, what was it, the pronghorn?
Yeah, that was the launcher on it, yeah. That and the Shaky Hunter. And
the Shaky Hunter.
That was a big wide one.
That's the one I had, was the Shaky Hunter. I've shot them, but ever since I switched over that limb driver, it makes tuning a whole lot simpler. You don't have to worry about that cam timing, or not cam timing, but rest timing.
Speaking of stuff, 2 or 3 times on Facebook this week, I've seen people bring up those metal D-loops.
Oh man.
And if you've never experienced them, I don't like them. But
No.
they, you know, it's a metal D-loop. It's got a little plate that mounts on. You put 4 little bitty screws in it. And man, that thing, first of all, a lot of beginners end up with them, or used to end up with them somehow, and it would tear their arm up if their draw length wasn't right. And then second of all, people lock them down, and it messes up the center serving. It messes up, more than anything, it'll tear a release up in a heartbeat, because it's metal on metal, you know what I mean? But I don't know why all of a sudden on Facebook I've seen people asking about them.
And you know, with that thing cutting into that serving, you gotta, once it separates, it's eating into that string material.
Yeah, I don't see it being a good
idea. I can see maybe a quick fix to get, you know, if you're on a hunt somewhere to, you know, make it through. But
people bring them things in back in the day, and I'd go to move it or whatever I was doing, I'd drop one of them little screws. I'd be over mad, but anyway. I guess we're gonna get off here. We've been on here about an hour, and thank y'all for the super chats. I'll get y'all stickers in the mail. I also get the heat vanes. We'll dig them out. I think they're over there hiding somewhere. We'll find sample packs and get those sent out so y'all can play with them. And next show we go to, we need to talk. That's what we need to tell people. We got a YouTube thing, and we send some people some sample stuff. Give us a bunch of packs. Maybe we can get y'all some freebies. That'd be kind of cool to test. But not Muddy Ducks. I'm gonna go cook some. What am I gonna cook? Tacos. It's Thursday. Taco Thursday.
I think I'm having barbecue chicken.
Barbecue. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for the super chat.
Yep. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Matt. And we'll be back on what's the day? Thursday, Sunday. The tuning video come out, and I think it's an elite. I can't remember what I had edited. And then Tuesday we'll have our podcast, and we'll be back Thursday with our fancy T-shirt, some kind of announcement. Hopefully we'll have them some ready to ship or partially ready to ship or whatever.
William said, "Do you still got his address?"
I do. I think you sent it to me on Facebook, didn't you? Pretty sure you did. I can look it up. I got it. But anyway, thank y'all for watching.
Yep.
I'm still can't believe a bunch of people get on here and watch some dumb rednecks talk about archery, but thank you for doing it.
Yep.
And we will see y'all next time.
See y'all.